ESPN Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
From Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff along with Jimmy Ott and Jordan Kitchens back in the studio. Andy Isco with us a little bit later on in hour number one. And we do first class, second class, and no class in hour number two. Chilly, but beautiful sunshine,
it's all right,
clear
man.
day.
No,
I love this. This is fabulous, fabulous weather. I want to say one thing at the top of the show today, because we'll do a review, tomorrow when all of this is going on. We're not really the show that does all your recruiting breakdowns and things like that. And I know that the meltdown is real this morning with Cade Phillips' decommitment and flip to Texas, with whatever else is going to come along the rest of the day and into tomorrow. And I'm not going to speculate on any of that. There's plenty of other guys that do that, full time, and I'll leave it to them. I just offer this one piece of advice: take it or leave it. I am as big of an LSU baseball guy as there is. Okay, worked for them for 15 years. Love baseball, always have. Went to LSU, you know the story. Okay, in all of the years, Jimmy, that we covered football recruiting heavily and basketball recruiting heavily, we never, almost never, covered baseball recruiting. And why? Because there was always a good chance, that a prospect was going to sign with Major League Baseball, no matter how good or bad or whatever they were when they committed to LSU, sometimes all the way back to when they were 14 or 15 years old. There's always a chance that at the end that the Philadelphia Phillies or the Los Angeles Dodgers or whoever was going to swoop in with a big offer, and that was going to be that. So we always held our thoughts about baseball until the deadline had passed and they were on campus. I would encourage people that, as far as their emotions go, you can follow the news, that's fine. But as far as their emotions go, save it for after the deadline passes, because there's somebody with a big money offer that can swoop in, and money talks. And I'll leave it at that. Do with that what you will. But if you put your emotion and your heart into commitments and all those things that happen before the deadline, you run the risk of this. That's
fine psychological advice, and it's very. I mean,
hard to follow because I'm disappointed too. But
no. I agree with it. I mean, but that's from you're talking to the fans. We're trying to create from becoming mediocre, just one of the pack,
right?
In football, and you're being threatened. Man, will tell you like, oh really? Who told Texas is more of a threat now, huh? Oh really? They got the SEC branding to sell, and you've woken up their boosters, really? Oh, in the league contributed too, more than that, and just paved a way for an easy path to the conference championship game. I mean, LSU's not going to get outbid by most. They're going to get outbid by Texas. And now Texas has, you always say, man, you want 4 and 5 stars want to go to the NFL. Mm-hmm. Every one of them. Oh, you want to play this is the best league. We get more guys drafted than the pros. Look at your league. Here's the math. Here's the data. This is not opinion. But now they got that SEC, and now you've woken them up. And now you've even woken them up more, because now the narrative is like Herbstreit. Oh, they came in here, ran it rimshod. No, they only played one team that finished in the top half and got smoked by them. And now they might win because in a psychological advantage. Both teams are in, but now they got the psychological advantage. They got something to prove because they played like crap so bad the first time. Man, this is more evidence, though, Charlie. This is especially for LSU, who's a neighboring state, where you've always had recruiting battles with them. Always. And LSU's going to outbid some. LSU's budget, their pay-for-play budget, their NIL, whatever you want to call it, their collective budget, the payroll, it's going to be competitive. But you're going to get outbid by some. And they got outbid last week. They get outbid this week. And the Michigan kid, that's maybe an extenuating circumstance. But this Texas stuff is going to happen on a regular basis.
And it's not just Texas.
And how? I mean,
it's Texas A&M and Alabama.
Well, A&M's been in the league for 12 years. What have they done? What have they done? Zippola.
As far as winning a championship, they've done very well.
Zippola.
They did pull that number 1 class in 21.
And how did it work out?
It didn't work out at all. But they pulled all those kids.
They did. How did it work out?
Not well.
Okay,
doesn't mean they're not going to be bidding on kids in the future too.
Of course they are, Charlie. But this is it.
Everybody's shooting at you.
Texas was so disinterested that they had back-to-back years where their roster produced 0 draft picks.
Right.
Leave them. Let that bear lie. Let him. Don't wake him up. Don't invite him. Don't give him a spark. Don't try trick play up 21 points. Let him lay. No, you're gonna regret it. But we're gonna get a few more coins, huh? Well, because
you're talking about the league or the schools in the league, because the league wanted Texas because
talking about your traditional, your power players, your teams that can win and have won championships. Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, LSU.
Texas in the league makes it harder.
Those,
no doubt.
You give Texas that SEC branding. You bring them in the league. You fire them a spark. You get what you get. And that's what it is. I think that's a disservice to the league. For what? A few more coins? You got the money. Really? You are the far superior product in college football. I would think that the teams that have won championships should run your conference. And if Alabama, LSU, but we're both LSU guys. You said no. It's great for the league.
I don't remember saying it was great for the league.
Well, you fought. What did you say?
I said it brings more money to the league.
Well, sure, it does.
Which is
at
why
what
they did
cost?
It. Everybody in the league voted for this. Everybody. It was a unanimous vote to bring Oklahoma and Texas.
Go.
Yeah, they had to put some people in a hammerlock, but my understanding was they had to put the smaller teams in a hammerlock, not the bigger ones. I could be wrong. I wasn't in the room. I wasn't privy to all those phone calls, but that was the narrative, was that the teams that are up at the top of the SEC are fine with this. The Mississippi States and Kentuckys of the world really aren't.
That was foolish.
No, and maybe you're right. Maybe it was. The league office thinks of Texas
where
as one
the kid
of us
flipped
now.
to today?
Texas.
Okay.
As far as the league office is concerned, he just flipped from one SEC school to the other. They don't really care.
You said that Alabama ran the league forever.
I did.
You think this helps Alabama?
It does not.
You think Alabama?
It doesn't help Alabama getting players.
Alabama, what are they going to build that stadium to the heavens? I mean, what did they? What more? I mean, they got the nutrition center with the grills and the patio. I mean, what more can they do? They want to win, right? If you don't think this threatens their chances to win.
Well, it does, but they didn't turn down the money while they were doing it either.
Misguided.
Well, and you
poor vision.
Right. I didn't think the NFL needed to go play in Brazil where they had to have security teams follow the teams around, but they did. I mean, the NFL wasn't going to go broke if they didn't go play in Brazil, but they went there and told all of the players, please don't go outside the hotels because your life's in danger.
NFL wasn't going to go broke if they expanded to 17 games either.
Right. So,
okay. So yeah. So this was, but this is.
It makes
it happening, bro.
It makes it harder.
It's happening. It's happening so much damn faster than it had to be. You tell me Texas in the Big 12 championship against Oklahoma State. Who the hell cared about that game last year? Who cares? Stay in the Big 12. Who cares?
Unfortunately,
that doesn't get anybody excited.
Unfortunately, that ship sailed. Root for Georgia on Saturday.
Good luck. That's great. Why?
Because I don't like Texas at this particular moment in my life.
Why?
All that stuff you just said.
Okay.
All that stuff.
I'm the only visionary of this damn show.
No,
man, don't be great. I mean, LSU more than who does it hurt? Of the 6 I named, who's it hurts the most? Because you're border state. Border states are going to fight over the same kids. Texas now produces the most NFL players, any state, passed up Florida, past 4 years.
And the league thinks of them as, hey, they're one of us now. We went and got them. That's from the league.
Good job.
Be a tense 24 hours around
Greed will
here.
get you, baby.
Well, it'll be a tense 24 hours. We're here at Mike Anderson's right here in the Oyster Bar.
So when are we going to mid?
Huh?
Are we going to mid? I mean, are we going to be? I mean, we're just going to be.
I want to see what the recruiting class looks like and the portal class looks like before I get too far down the road. Somebody asked me this morning what would be the odds on the Clemson game next year. I'm like, are you kidding? Yeah, I did.
Clemson's more worried than LSU.
Well, maybe, but I don't know what LSU's roster is going to look like going to Clemson right now.
Well,
I don't know who's coming in. I don't know who's going out. I don't know who's playing quarterback for LSU right now against Clemson next year. So it's
Clemson is in worse shape than LSU. Now they're in a conference where they had a mid type of team this year, and they're in the conference championship.
Yeah.
Okay, but.
Well, my point is, the LSU roster is going to look dramatically different 60 days from now than it looks today, and I don't know in which direction. How's that?
Okay, that's next year's team.
We'll get a better idea after tomorrow. A better idea.
I'm asking you to try. I'm giving you a second chance at having a little vision here. You don't think this is going to be a little bit of an issue?
That Texas is in the SEC and that NIL is prevalent. Yes, we always thought this was going to be a deal.
enough of this to happen to where, man, LSU ain't gonna have 5 years in a row of the most players in the NFL. That ship has sailed, or that was just it's cyclical. It'll come back maybe 10 years from now, 5 years, whatever, or maybe even a couple years. Will they ever have the most in 1 year? Will they ever be close? I mean, they're still top 5, 3 or 4, something like that.
I suspect that there will be
right now.
I suspect that there will be a cap well inside of 10 years before. Certainly, when revenue sharing comes in, there'll be a cap, and I think that there will be some legislative help on the way in the next 4-year cycle. I can't tell you when and exactly what it's
there was
a
cap
like.
Before, Charlie. It was 0. Couldn't play anybody.
Well,
there's still something.
It was an artificial cap because we all knew people were getting played, but this is a lot more public. I don't know.
Everybody's always going to push for a competitive advantage.
Mm-hmm.
They're always going to cut. Say the rule. I mean, they did it for 100 years. So, I'm just. Louisiana's not a rich state.
Not compared to Texas.
No. Well, I mean, not compared to a lot of states. I mean, now we have a lot of support. The finance we've always, but I mean, are we going to slide from that 6 to 10 to maybe 14 to 18 as far as resources or budget?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
And if you slip from 6 to 10, 40, because what were they before Saban got here? It's like going to 10, 11, 12.
In a 12-team SEC when Saban got here, they were probably 8 or 9.
Oh, no. They were always top 6. Top half. Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Well, at that point, they had lost
Kentucky,
8 out of 11 years. At that point, when
I understand, but they were always their budget was their resource. Their budget was still. Saban knew he was going to take the LSU job and not the Ole Miss, Mississippi State job, no matter what they had. South Carolina, Vandy, Kentucky, and Arkansas.
Well,
he was not going to take those jobs. LSU was always going to be a top 6 resource.
Well, if we had those resources,
we certainly
weren't spending it at the time.
Well, no, it was an overdue. Joe Dean was going to hold on to that deal. He was not going to be part of his legacy. I mean, whoever came in, why they hired Skip? Skip, you're the most popular guy. We got something very unpopular in the fan base. We're getting ready to do ticket charge, surcharge, tradition fund, whatever you want to brand it. Here we go.
Let me rephrase. In 1999, they may have had top 6 resources. Probably did. They weren't spending top 8.
They weren't budget. We weren't top 6 budget.
Yeah. What they were actually spending on the program was not in the top 5 in the SEC in 1999. Joe Dean wouldn't allow it. I mean, they were not spending on a basketball coach.
Kentucky was spending more on football than LSU.
Not
well,
Kentucky.
You got to name one of them. Arkansas was.
Florida
Arkansas has money.
Florida was spending more. Tennessee was spending
those are
more.
Those are the top 6.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't think that they were in the top 5 at that time. I thought they were closer to the bottom than they were to the top in 1999.
No, you're talking about the top, but they were still in the top half. There might have been 6, but they were not.
They were not spending.
Not Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Arkansas.
Okay.
There's always been the top 6 in the top. You know that.
They had it, but they wouldn't spend it. They wouldn't even. We lived through Joe Dean together. Okay, Skip had to raise all of his own money. That's why he was successful. The rest of them, just got by on what they gave him.
Maybe Arkansas.
Yeah,
maybe Arkansas.
I mean, Joe Dean's goal every year: finish 4th. That way we don't have to spend any money out of a 10-team league.
Skip loves that story.
It's true, and it is very, very telling. We're here, Mike Anderson.
Hey, you were here for Santa. You were decorating cookies.
I was here for Santa.
When I was grinding out games over at the Queen, you were over here decorating cookies and riding the animals.
Well, I came on Friday afternoon to get dinner, and it was the tail end of Get Your Picture Taken with Santa Day. And let me just say that the parents have a time with the little ones, getting them dressed just the way you want them, getting them to smile, getting them to sit on Santa's lap.
Shane told me management had to say, sir, please don't cut the kids in line, Annie. Okay. All right. Let the little ones have fun. No, I want my letter to Santa.
The parents were losing the battle against the kids.
Kids win.
The kids win.
Kids win on
definitely,
Day with Santa, huh?
Yeah, they were strong favorites in the game.
But it's part of what we do over here at Maine. You come into Maine, the place is decked out. Our friends over at Harriman's do a great job. We're in the middle of Poinsettias over here in front of the aquarium in the bar area where it's oyster night every Tuesday night, 25 cent. Not 25 cents, half off oysters over here on the half shell. That's every Tuesday night, 6 by the 6 by the 12, a discounted draft, ice cold draft. It's that time of the year, man. It's chilly. Those oysters are a little bit more firm, a little bit more salty. It's oyster season over here at Mike Anderson's. And every Tuesday, oysters on the half shell, and they're good. We got trained shuckers over here and know what they're doing. Just a great job over here at Mike Anderson's. Come on, check them out every Tuesday night, 5 to 9 p.m.
Live at Mike Anderson's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Holiday time at the Thibodeau store, and they've got gifts for everybody on your list. Lots of cookware. The McWare and Lodge cookware, cast iron pots, roll around combos for all of you cooks out there. If you're buying for dad likes to cook, it's a perfect item to get him. Tools and garden supplies for the home experts and all those who like to kick back and soak in the Christmas magic. Lots of quality-made cypress furniture, swings, rockers, and gliders. Top-notch tools, gifts, expert advice. Tons of Christmas decorations if you're still decorating for Christmas. Affordable stuff at the Thibodeau store. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau, but online where delivery is available. So convenient to shop at ThibodeauStore.com.
If you liked Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar before, you will love the all-new updated Jolie Pearl in downtown Baton Rouge. Jolie Pearl is the place for the true oyster connoisseur, featuring a brand new extended menu. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar features oysters from all over the world, served up grilled, baked, and raw. Stop by for lunch, dinner, or before any event downtown or at the River Center. Jolie Pearl. Upscale oysters in a New Orleans-style atmosphere, North Boulevard in the heart of downtown, or online at joliepearloysterbar.com.
GMFS, changing lives.
This is Ryan LaRusso with GMFS Mortgage, and our team specializes in helping first-time homebuyers just like yourself achieve the homeownership goals. With competitive rates and unmatched personal service and over 23 years of experience, our team will get the best mortgage product available for you and your family. Don't let the complexity of the mortgage process hold you back from your home ownership dreams. Give us a call today at 225-214-5153. That's 225-214-5153. If you or someone that you love is looking to buy, go with a company that's been in Baton Rouge for over 25 years, GMFS Mortgage. And my team, the LaRusso team, is looking forward to serving you.
GMFS, changing lives.
NMLS number 96565, GMFS NMLS number 64997 is an equal housing lender. Mortgages originated at 7389 Florida Boulevard, Suite 200A, Baton Rouge, LA 706.
Run with us on a John Deere Z365R Z-Track mower, built for taking it easy. With the Easy Change 30-second oil change system and standard mulch control to control your clippings without any extra effort. Because lawns aren't just for mowing, they're for living. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Z300 for more.
Pre-order your new John Deere at Ascension Equipment on Airline Highway in Gonzales. Pre-order now and get your mower before the grass grows.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me as we talk college football all year long, weeknights at 6 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It's brought to you locally by Louisiana Turf Company. Visit them at louisianaturf.com.
Need more space? Workbox LLC has the storage solutions you can count on. Whether you're a homeowner, commercial contractor, or industrial business, we have the space for you. Our secure, versatile storage units are ready to meet your needs. Contractors, keep your site organized and efficient. Store your materials with us and access them anytime you need. Businesses, industries of any size, Workbox LLC is your trusted partner for flexible, safe storage. Workbox 343-4886 and workboxllc.com.
Brandon Holly here. You want a company that has a true lifetime warranty? ReliefWindows.com, baby.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Live at lunch with Ott and Danny from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can get the show on demand in the LouisianaSports.net, 1045ESPN.com as well. New Handycast podcast dropped last night on YouTube. Watch Richard and I review the film of the Oklahoma game. Handycast on YouTube. Last night's Monday night game, one of the more stranger games that we've seen. Jameis Winston threw 6 touchdown passes last night. 4 to the Browns and 2 to the Broncos. Threw for 497 yards in receptions to the Browns and 171 yards in interception returns to the Broncos. Denver ends up winning the game 41-32.
Which is tougher beat, USC or Cleveland?
That's tough. The USC loss, man, you were already covering and you were driving inside the, I forgot what he snapped the ball when he intercepted the 3, but it was inside the 25.
15,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, it was red zone. So not only do you already have the cover, so if you fumble a ball and they take it over right there, they're going to run the clock out. No, you throw a pick 6.
Was it that late?
It was.
I'm going to look at it. Go ahead.
Well, there were 2 of them. So the first one is the one I'm talking about.
And they had enough time for a drive to throw another one at 100 yards, and they had enough one for another touchdown drive. They scored, Charlie. Yeah, so it wasn't totally done.
No, it wasn't done, but they would have certainly had USC fumble a ball right there, and Notre Dame taking over. Notre Dame was going to take their good sweet
time. Well, guess
time.
what? If Cleveland fumbles right there, they're covering.
Yeah. They're very similar.
It was later in the game.
It was inside of 2 minutes. Yeah. That's the only way you're not going to cover as a pick 6, because if they touch the guy, he's down. He stayed on the ground for what, 2, maybe 3 seconds before he got up. If they just touch him, you get a shoestring. He's down.
4 minutes to go.
4 minutes to go.
For USC.
So if Notre Dame gets the ball back there, they're going to be able to take either all of USC's remaining timeouts off the board, or they're going to be able to take 2 minutes plus off the board. So this was worse, I guess, given the time left in it. But to me,
I think they're the same thing, because
I think last night was worse. Can I make my case why?
Go ahead.
Less time with the first one, but I almost feel if you got Cleveland, like I got bad beat twice, because then I get the pass after the pick 6, terrible as that was, I get the ball back. I get a pass interference. I'm at the 2-yard line to cover, not to win the game, but to cover.
Well, USC was.
Where'd they end up? I didn't
13.
see the very. Okay, well,
13.
Okay, then they're pretty close then.
Because
I feel like I could beat
the
twice.
7.5. So
full disclosure, I was on Denver last night. I was extremely lucky. But if I was on Cleveland, I'd feel like I got bad beat twice, at least.
You know why Cleveland was worse? So both teams, after the pick six, where all you can do, like you said, is turn it over and downs, fumble the ball right there, it's over. Okay. Not only that, but because if Notre Dame, they'll need one first down, which they'll get, and they'll run it out. They could just run it out, even though Cleveland had 3 timeouts, it was under 2 minutes. They might one time, whatever. It's done. The last one, when you're down to the 2 or you're down to the 13, the second pick six for Notre Dame was on 4th down. He was pressured. He threw it away.
That wasn't the case last night.
This was first and goal from the 2. I'm going to – really, you got linebackers reading your eyes.
Yeah.
Then you get what you get with Jameis, huh?
You know what Jameis strikes me as? He strikes me as a guy, if he was a baseball player, he'd be a really valuable pinch hitter. Because you can bring him into the game for one at bat and he can run the ball out of the park, but you can't put him in the lineup every day because he'll strike out 175 times over the course of a season. And he is the quintessential backup quarterback in the NFL. You put him in, you got a chance to get hot. He gets hot, man, he could put up some numbers, but you can't play him every week because we finished the show yesterday. You said, who you like? I said, I like the Broncos tonight. So you laying all those points. I said, yeah, the reason why I said, I don't think Jameis can play 2 games in a row at a high level. Now, I got lucky last night. I'm not going to, belabor the point. But that's Winston. Capable of a big game, but never consistent enough. You can't have him as your starting quarterback because you get too many games like this. Tampa had it. He didn't have as long a run in New Orleans. And now Cleveland said, Aikman was talking him up during the game. He's like, man, look at this. All the teams that are looking for quarterbacks. And he's right. There's plenty of teams looking for quarterbacks. The Raiders need a quarterback. The Giants need a quarterback. There's plenty of teams. But you can't trust Jameis to be your starting quarterback because there's too many games like this. That's my read.
What is an interception? That is erase maybe 80 yards, 100 yards. What is a pick six erase? Remember we were sitting in Beau Rivage and watching the Saints Browns. They had those Browns fans, nicest people in the world till the game started. Okay,
Yes.
Then they were freaking lunatic, drunk. Fanatics.
In their defense,
okay?
they've had 20 Jameis Winstons, but go ahead.
Okay, but they were screaming like going crazy. I'm like, what did you just have? Because Jameis, okay, this is somewhat, this was a little bit more extreme. He hadn't thrown for 485 and in 2 pick sixes. It might be 312 and a pick or 2, 2 TDs, 2 picks. That's kind of the 30-30 year, which ended on a pick six in overtime. We were coming back from the Atlanta
airport,
airport, from the Oklahoma massacre. This was 500 yards one way for an offense. Again, the starting quarterback could. This is more of an indictment on Watson. Man, how
you
bad
can't move him at all.
This is 2 years in a row
that
all of a sudden these guys are catching balls all over the place, huh? You can't get anything to man. Yes, he has to clean it up, but still, he showed that you can. Now Judy, Jared Judy, you can do that a little bit. You could do that before. You go against your old team where you got a little extra going. To Denver, come on, Vance Joseph, put Surtain on Judy. How quickly?
Yeah, it took him to the end of the third quarter to do that.
Gosh, that was a little slow in adjustment.
More than a little bit.
How about this? How bad is one? Because they could have won, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, yes.
They go set up for a field goal, they win.
Mm-hmm.
They get a field goal, they win. And then here's Jameis maybe for comeback player of the year. It's Joe Burrow, and he's got a big lead, and Joe Burrow's doing things. I get that. But, you got another case for another No, it's not just the comeback player of the year. Flack, it's about Watson ain't close to what he was. It's a bad contract. It's off the field stuff, but hey, how bad was he? And that's what drove me crazy about the Cleveland fans. Man, did y'all watch the quarterback play before this guy got in here? He just never gave you a chance.
Right. I'm baffled that Watson was as bad as he was. Okay.
His off the field stuff is baffling too.
It absolutely is, especially given what we saw at Clemson, and seemed to be a very reputable young guy.
Good teammates aren't always good citizens.
They're not, and we don't follow them around 24 hours a day, so we don't know. Those Cleveland fans, though, not only never been to a Super Bowl, the drive, the fumble, and all of those things. Owner moves them out of town. They got to watch Baltimore win games at such a higher rate with their old franchise, their old management. And then how many quarterbacks since they became the new Cleveland Browns? Tim Couch, Brandon Weeden, Brady Quinn, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield.
That's why they're desperate.
All of these guys are in the first round.
And if they bought what they thought they were bought, I mean, we wouldn't be. It's easy to say now, but they didn't. Did they not do their due diligence? I mean, who knew all this was going on, and who knew that he would be completely affected, just blown up, just done?
They weren't the only team that was pursuing Deshaun Watson. The Saints bent over backwards to try to get him in, and so did the Atlanta Falcons. So no,
if you
they were not the only
what
ones.
He was in Houston, they'd be damn good.
Yeah,
would they not?
It'd be a hell of a lot better than 3-9.
I mean, with the last few years,
Watson's last full year in Houston was a top 5-6 quarterback in the league.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, his last full season,
because he didn't have a great support. Who were his top receivers?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, you got to think.
Yeah, Hopkins was good, but Hopkins
was real good.
At that time, was in his prime. Yeah, he was a top, very, very top quarterback in the league, and then to go from that to the worst quarterback in the league, the worst starting quarterback in the league. He was worse than Daniel Jones. He was worse than you can name anybody. Tough one if you were on Cleveland last night for sure.
Thanks.
I extended my sympathy. I admitted I was lucky. I'm not giving the money back.
Bad beats?
I'm not giving. No, they didn't have time, but they did mention
my favorite seg is just high point of Ithaca. First half total.
They actually had some of the games on last
USC.
night. Yeah, USC.
Okay.
UCSC was on there.
Who else?
Oh gosh. I'm trying to think of the other one that was. I'll think of it during the break. But before they got out of the segment, Stanford Steve kind of nodded back to the field. He goes, how about this one? Didn't have time to turn the video around. I guess.
Yes. Stanford Steve, a man of a few words, but always pointed. So he's got a good gig. He's He's paid well by the. It's
some good travel, man. It's some good travel.
No.
Just go everywhere.
Don't forget our friends over at K&M Automotive on Segan Lane. Segan at Perkins, across from Segan Lane from Ambrosia Bakery, right in front of Winn-Dixie. Jason Payne going to give you an honest deal. You've heard the horror stories. You got to get some work done on your car. You bring it in and bam, what? You paid what? For what? No, not going to happen. He's going to try and find answers to repair before replace, but he will sit down and let you know what you're looking at. No, you got to replace this. Well, you can get away with this, but it's only going to be for this long. You can do this. Look, he's going to give you some different options instead of just, boom, sticker shop. He gives a lot of people an honest deal, and that's all we ask when we bring our cars in for maintenance. That's why he has so much repeat business. You come in, can't get it done right there. You set up a time when it can be done, but he is going to give you a fair shake, and that's what matters the most. Jason Payne at K&M Automotive, Segan and Perkins, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, the only place I take my vehicle.
Penn State on the last play of the game for the total. And Navy,
that was for the total.
And
okay,
Navy,
I knew it wasn't for the spread.
No, I don't.
He's got the red ass from Maryland. You know that? Did they pass him up for something when he was at Vandy or something? But no, he's done this. He sticks it to Maryland.
Yeah.
And Loxley let him know about it after, which he should.
I don't know, but they needed every play. It was 50.5. The touchdown last play of the game to make it 44-7 made it 51.
I didn't. Okay, that's good. That's good. These
over.
Are games we're betting on.
Yeah, and the Navy thing.
Navy 3-0.5 went over. With the backup quarterback.
Those two made it.
Yeah.
Live at lunch from Mike Anderson's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Hey, Tiger fans, listen up because there's a new way to snack on the Bayou. Introducing the all-new officially licensed LSU Snacks. Experience the flavor of victory with the LSU Win Bar. Inspired by the iconic stadium bar itself. Toasted oats, roasted almonds, and 100% real chocolate. Packed with 6 grams of protein. Or grab Win Bites gluten-free crispy chocolate chip mini cookies. Every purchase of LSU Snacks directly supports LSU athletics. Order now at lsusnacks.com. Picture this, a signed Justin Jefferson helmet or a Tyrann Mathieu autographed football, 2 Louisiana legends. And now their memorabilia can be yours. It's all part of the First Tee East Baton Rouge raffle, where every ticket helps local kids build confidence and life skills through golf. Tickets are going fast, and winners will be drawn live on Zoom December the 19th. You don't even have to be present to win. Don't wait. Visit firstteebrp.org and grab your tickets. That's firstteebrp.org.
Congratulations are in order for one of my favorite places to eat, Snow Seafood and Steaks, celebrating its 50th anniversary. That's right, since 1971, Snow's has been serving a wide assortment of menu items to please everyone. Steaks, seafood, gumbo, homemade soup, salads, specialty cocktails, great wine selection, and oh yes, the best white chocolate bread pudding that you'll find anywhere. It's the total dining experience. Happy 50th anniversary to my friends at Snow Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway at Highway 74 in Gonzales.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night fights.
Hosting an office party or holiday get-together? Let Rouse's Markets make it easy and delicious. You can order full and half pans of Rouse's Markets' famous jambalaya, gumbo, red beans, white beans, and fettuccine alfredo. And you can get all of your local favorites, mini po' boys, mini muffalettas, meat pies, crawfish pies, and boudin egg rolls. Plus, they have the best finger sandwiches in town. Rouse's Markets, your holiday catering headquarters and the official supermarket of the Saints.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 and OCBrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Lofton Staffing Services, 924-0200 and lofton.jobs. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance. The LSU Alumni Association and the Cook Hotel and Conference Center. For reservations, thecookhotel.com.
There are trucks, then there's the truck. GMC Sierra, with available features like the V8 engine, the ultimate luxury interior, and of course, the available world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra, not just any truck, the truck. GMC's continued commitment to professional-grade engineering is on full display at your Bayou GMC dealer. Come take a test drive today and see for yourself. We are professional-grade GMC.
Harness the Boudreaux boost when storms loom. Boudreaux's Electrical powers your life with top-tier Generac home standby generators. Dial Boudreaux's Electrical for energy that endures, because with us, you're never powerless. Visit BoudreauxElectrical.com.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. Have a question, a problem, call us. We answer the phone. 225-363-9053.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
121-1674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Heading out to Las Vegas, deep in the desert, lives one man. One man of many sports bets. The one and only Andy Isco.
Andy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, recovering from a so-so weekend, but I was listening to you a little bit before, and I had a big issue with that Navy East Carolina total that they talked about, because I was also on the over in that game. I never saw that total at anything under 54. So unless they were betting in the candy store down the block, I think they did that for effect or something.
Let's see.
I checked the number of the major books, and they were all between 54 and 56.5.
Yeah, what was the final score on Navy?
That was the 34-20.
34-20.
And they scored all those points in the fourth quarter.
Right.
But I think they showed the number at 52.5 or 51.5 or something.
I'm showing some stops that closed at 53.5. So there was some, and it was 3-0 at half though, and 17-0 at the end of 3.
And because I had the over, I played over in the second half because I thought there's no way I'm gonna win the full game bet, and I came up a half point short. But nonetheless, I always enjoy that segment, and they're starting to get a little bit better because
you know what too, Andy. There was the backup quarterback, which Horvath was out, okay, and they produced 0 points when he went out, like in the second quarter against Tulane, and against and then he did nothing in the first half here. They're down 3-0. They did. East Carolina had first and goal. They had some possessions down there. Navy did as well. They didn't produce anything. But anyway, the one where the backup quarterback was in and did nothing at half and then went crazy the second half, you see him kind of get more. Sometimes they can get a little bit more into the game after, they played a half, nothing happened. The one coach said, man, just let it rip kind of deal.
I think that quarter was preparing us for last night's game.
Well, I'm talking about a college game, and I'm talking about in a coach his coach that got fired, and his backup quarterback was playing. Okay, the starter was a Texas transfer, Hudson Card from Texas.
Right.
He was hurt. They had like 6'10", 15 yards at half. He threw for like 320 the second half, the 59-56 game in Champaign or whatever it was. So that's the one I remember. How does this go from one half to the next? You're talking about. So.
Oh, the other one we missed. Max reminds me. We were on the winning side. Duke. It was on Bad Beats last night with the touchdown, the walk-off touchdown.
Oh, I was on the good side of that.
Yeah, I was too.
Oh, no.
But if you won Wake Forest,
didn't we do that on pregame?
Yes, yeah.
That was in by then, right?
It was close. Yeah,
I think it went in. I think
it was close.
Yeah.
But the problem or the issue I have is that they do not distinguish between bad beats and tough beats. Bad beats are when you've got like a 95% chance to win the game with like under 5 minutes to go, and somehow you end up losing it, like you're 2 scores ahead and you end up losing the game, as opposed to a rough beat where, hey, they just continue to play and, ultimately things are going to happen. And you're always going to try to score when you're down by, 7 points to get the backdoor cover or something. And, and if you end up getting that backdoor cover, it's a tough beat for the other team that was leading the whole game, but that's not a bad beat.
Purdue had 3 points at half at Illinois, down 24-3 at half. They scored 40 in the third and fourth quarter and 6 more in overtime. Ryan Brown, the backup quarterback. So for
4 points, and Purdue scored the whole month of November. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Hey, you heard us talking about Jameis Winston too. I mean, this is when he's going to press the issue. Yeah. He's going to make plays. He's going to make mistakes. What's that, Charlie?
You asked me how many games he started this year. That was number 5 last night for Cleveland.
Fifth start. And,
10, he's played in 10 games. That's his 5th start.
5th start for this year with Cleveland?
For this year with Cleveland, yeah.
And are they all overs?
Oh, probably.
I mean,
I would.
The last 2 are. I know that much. So
he's always been known as the quarterback who keeps both teams to the game.
Yes. Well, I mean, listen, Peyton loves him, okay? But all we heard was great things, great locker room guy, the whole thing. But they never played him. And the guys they played ahead of him. I mean, you remember when Breeze? What's the name went down?
Yeah,
I mean, what was
Simeon? Yeah,
played, and come on, man.
You just can't trust him enough to go and be your starting quarterback. All of these games, the Baltimore game was 29-24.
That's over.
The Saints game was 35-14.
That's over.
The Chargers game was 27-10.
41.5.
Okay. And then the Steeler game was 24-19 in the snow.
4 months of the over.
Yeah.
4-1 to the over, and just missed on that one. So anyway, so hey, is this a time to kind of, man, like McCaffrey's out now. I mean, they're banged up. Trent Williams, tragically, I mean, his wife lost the twins. I mean, so he's now, why bring him back now? You know, he's been off and on now. I mean, but we're talking about a team that's got to figure out what the rest of the roster is now. They've had these long seasons after long season after long. But from a gambling perspective, I mean, this is a team that's with a strong reputation. It's always good. That just is not good right now. They've got to be a fade team at this point.
No, but they are in a winnable division because of the mediocrity. You know, really at the top. What, 6-5, 7-5 leading the division. So they're not out of it. But I would imagine as soon as they are mathematically out of making it, because remember, unlikely to make a wild card, but they certainly can win the division. But once that's it, I think they shut everybody down.
2 behind with 5 to play on Seattle.
Two, yeah. But have lost at home to all 3. They lose every tiebreaker, every tiebreaker. So they've lost all 3 divisional games at home. So I don't know, Andy.
Well, it's not just with McCaffrey being out now. It's Mason's out also. He's on the IR.
Yes. So they're down to the the UCLA rookie. But I mean they're just, I don't know,
a shell of themselves,
and they still get a difficult schedule the rest of the way. Divisional games on the road.
They're at the Cardinals. They got to play the Lions.
The Lions.
They're at the Dolphins. Tua's hot right now.
Yeah, is he? We give you saying he was hot. He played well in Green Bay.
Okay. He's put up a lot of numbers.
Okay.
You know where I pull that from? He's got the best fantasy numbers the last 4 weeks. I just said he's been putting up numbers. I didn't say the Dolphins were good, but he's been putting up numbers.
Garbage time Charlie. You know Garbage time Charlie, Andy?
Yeah.
Well, they still count, and unfortunately, those garbage time numbers often frustrate, too. I mean, I'm talking about bettors.
Well, props and fantasy is sort of intertwined. And look, and I've always said, throw that blowout box score in the garbage. It's set up for garbage time yards. And let's face it, the Thanksgiving night game against Green Bay and Miami had a lot of garbage time.
Tua is the best quarterback as long as the temperature's over 40 degrees the last month. How's that?
So that's, by the way, when I look at numbers, and I do that a lot, of course, is I don't just look at averages. I also look at medians. You know, what's the middle score? What's the I won't say typical performance, but what's the one that basically everything else is better or worse than, and that's the number that you should probably rely on as far as being more meaningful. Even though it's not a number in and of itself, it does allow you to ignore or at least downgrade extremely good or extremely bad efforts and try to look for more like the typical or average effort.
You got any insight, any perspective on this UNLV trip to Boise? Same spread, different location. I was in Las Vegas, and they were favored by 4. They win by 5. Held on to the ball at the end. UNLV couldn't get the ball back, and Boise ran off like the last 6-7 minutes of the game. And that when Genty was held in check, no big runs, held to like 3.9 a carry, something like 32 for 154. But UNLV's played a little bit better down the stretch. Boise's kind of had a rough spot in Reno, shaky Laramie trip. Just kind of ever since that Friday night game where they blasted San Diego State, it was like 42-0 in the second quarter. They've been winning, but not blowing people out.
No, but at this point spread, which I think is now, 4.5, I think I saw it had been down as low as 3.5 yesterday. My concern for UNLV is the lack of experience in these big games. Remember, they played last year, and they were basically non-competitive in the game that was played down here for the Mountain West Championship. And, of course, they did play earlier in the year here. UNLV's had an unusual season because they started off very, very well. Then they went into sort of like a midseason. They were still winning, but it wasn't as dominant, and they had some defensive issues, and then they seem to have picked it up a little bit late. Now, when I did my statistical review, the numbers can actually support this being a very competitive game. In other words, you look at the line and you say, gee, it seems very, very low for Boise with all the experience, the home field. But when you break down the numbers, these teams are very similar, especially if you take a look at the 6 games they had against common opponents, which is actually about half the schedule, there's not that much of a difference. My concern, though, is Boise has that huge edge with that experience, and that might make for an advantage in a critical, say, third, fourth quarter situation. So not sure what I'm going to do with it, but my initial thought was, gotta like Boise. I'm now no longer dismissing out of hand to UNLV until I do a little bit more work.
This is a short line for Detroit against Green Bay this Thursday night game. Detroit should have had a bigger lead. They left a lot of points on the board in the early against Chicago. They had about 250 yards before Chicago had a first down, but then they kept it close enough where we know how the end happened. They were in danger of losing outright, but and they lost some more guys defensively. Soft number at home, or no? Detroit's got all kinds of problems, and now they're the KC of the NFC.
No, I don't think this one game. I mean, really, the only two lackluster games they played, and really, again, they were out. They could have been up 23-0 at halftime, but for that fumble. Although the way they were playing, it probably would have been 19-0 because they only scored that one touchdown early. But the only lackluster game they played was this one, and the game they lost in week 2 at home to Tampa Bay. Other than that, they've been pretty much putting teams away with comfortable margins. And if they are focused, it's not a Kansas City situation where all those extra games you were talking about, San Francisco, Kansas City affected the same. And I think Kansas City is just looking to get through the season. They don't need to win 34-3, 27-24 is fine for them. I would expect that Campbell, being the coach he is going to have his players extremely motivated, especially because Green Bay is close behind them with Minnesota in the standings. That this is an all-important game because Detroit won the earlier game, and so this game could basically eliminate Green Bay from the division title. Then they just have to worry about Minnesota, who they also beat earlier. So I would expect a good effort out of Detroit here coming off of that. They really seemed to walk through the second half last week. It almost cost them.
If you had futures on Detroit, would you be looking to hedge a little bit? Are you worried?
No.
I'm talking about the division with Minnesota that keeps winning behind them.
No, I think every team has injuries, and Detroit's been able. Look, they've overcome the absence of Hutchinson with some good defensive play, the acquisition, et cetera, and all that. I'm not concerned about Detroit, not at this point. Anyway.
Andy, thank you, brother. We're out of time. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, bud.
Look forward to it, guys.
Workbox can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, or even 8x40 feet. Not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers, for welders, dual purpose. You can do part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padiala Workbox a call, 343-4886, 343-4886, and workboxllc.com.
Live at lunch from Mike Anderson's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
News is happening all day, filling your feed. Go beyond the headlines with in-depth coverage on WBRZ News 2 at 6. Michael Shingleton and Sylvia Weatherspoon deliver the most local news in the capital area. Exclusive investigative unit reports and problem-solving 2-on-your-side solutions. Your storm station forecast everywhere first, and insider coverage of your home teams. See why more people are turning to WBRZ News 2 at 6. Investigative, in-depth.
When your transformer is down, it's not just an inconvenience. It's a cost to your business. At Bayou Transformers, we understand the urgency and we are ready to assist. Whether it's maintenance, reconditioning, or even a full replacement, we'll get you back to full power swiftly and efficiently. With a 5-year warranty on all our rebuilt transformers and a rapid turnaround time, we are your solution for all your transformer needs. Visit BayouTransformers.com. That's BayouTransformers.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important.
Yeah, go for that segment. You can come over the air. You got to let us know on that hard break. Give us an alert. Okay, it's all cool.
.com.
We get caught up in the conversation.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If you're starving for some good news in recruiting, here's this. North Carolina quarterback commitment Bryce Baker going to put off his signing for another week. Of course, North Carolina fired Mac Brown. He's the number 8 quarterback in the 24/7 composite. LSU has had productive conversations with him, according to Koki Riley at The Advocate and Steve Wiltfong. And Penn State is also in the conversation there. So there's a quarterback out there that was not expected to be out there with a coaching change. So you got a shot to get in there. I know there's been plenty of stuff that hasn't gone right this morning. So maybe you're looking, like I said, just a little bit of good news. Maybe that's
great.
Hey, I'm just a messenger, man. I'm just a messenger. Well, I got a project for you during the break. I want you to think of what's the biggest home football game Boise State's ever played. I'm asking for a reason. Just think about that during the break. The biggest home game that they've ever played. Come back. Give me your answer when we come back. We do first class, second class, no class. From Mike Anderson, Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
The Grand Bayou Casino, conveniently located off I-10 at exit 139 in Gross Ted, offers the latest video poker machines 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Got a great staff at the Grand Bayou Casino. Our inviting staff will greet you with complimentary coffee and sodas as you enjoy listening to the curated tunes in our comfortable seating. Make the trip to the Grand Bayou Casino, where players are welcome. The Grand Bayou Casino, I-10 at the Gross Ted exit. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-877-770-STOP. The Grand Bayou Casino. With all of the financial headlines, are you worried if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. If you have more questions and answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by your local Edward Jones advisor. Tex Morris on Jefferson. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Ice skating on the river is back at the Raising Cane's River Center Arena from December 18th through January 2nd. It's an unforgettable skating experience. Whether you're a seasoned pro or lacing up for the first time, there's fun for everyone. Bring your family, friends, and holiday spirit to skate in this winter wonderland. Visit RaisingCanesRiverCenter.com for times, dates, and tickets. Proudly brought to you by Investar Bank, Guarantee Media, and Acadian Ambulance.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the inventory to get you in a new truck or SUV today. Or let us help you customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery. Visit BayouCDJR.com to shop or schedule a same-day appointment with our service department just off I-10 on Belterre and LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Hunt Palmer. I take my home viewing experience seriously. You should too by calling Audio Video Security Solutions. Mitchell Fisher and his local AVSS team can do everything from delivering and mounting your television or surround sound to providing and installing whole home audio, even automated lighting, shade, and climate control. Make your house the place to watch the game. Give Mitchell Fisher a call at 225-439-7920. It's AVSS, Audio Video Security Solutions, online at avssla.com.
Drive a Land Rover or a Porsche? Choose Vex European for expert service. Tired of waiting weeks to get your European card for basic maintenance? At Vex European, we have committed to basic service done the same day or the next day. Book today, get service tomorrow. Visit VexEuropean.com.
People ask me all the time, where's a good place to go eat? My lock that never misses, Louisiana Lanyap. I've never had anybody disappointed. The snapper and papillote and the cocodrie are staples. Some of my favorites start off with the marinated crab claws or the oysters lanyap. For an entree, seafood stuffed bell peppers. Got a little kick to them now, so watch out. And blueberry bread pudding for dessert. Nobody has collected more 225 Best of Awards than Louisiana Lanyap. 9990 Perkins Road near Bluebonnet, where you always get a little something extra.
Get your home holiday ready with Cajun Soft Wash. They can remove dirt, grime, mold, mildew, and make your home shine just in time for festive gatherings. You never have to lift a finger. Let Cajun Soft Wash get your home and roof sparkling clean this holiday season. Book now at CajunSoftWash.com.
Great. Your windshield cracked.
Now what? Call Advanced Windshield. You have things to do. That's why they come to you. Advanced Windshield is the leading mobile, auto glass, and camera calibration provider in our area. Call 225-248-6788 or visit advancedwindshield.com.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Live at lunch, first class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
No man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
Life had become like school on Sunday. No class. I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, and no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Buy local with Louisiana-based Supreme Rice since 1936.
Returning here at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson, right here in the Oyster Bar. If you're looking to come by for lunch, beautiful day here in Baton Rouge. Before we get to the first class, second class, I asked you about Boise State and the biggest home game. I think you got the one that I would have picked.
LeGarrette Blunt,
the LeGarrette Blunt punch game.
Yeah.
And the reason I asked is
Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah.
Opened up. Oregon was only number 16 at the time, but I believe it was the highest ranked team. I do remember one Fresno State was kind of owning the Mountain West Conference, and Boise State was taken over kind of a little bit earlier than that, and they just destroyed them in Boise. But your point is well taken that all the big games are being away from home, whether it's the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma or TCU.
Yeah.
The games on the road against Virginia Tech, Georgia, Ole Miss, and others,
And with the looming possibility that they can be a bye team in the playoff, okay? That if they just close this thing out on Friday night against UNLV at home, that Ohio State, Penn State, potentially, Georgia, Tennessee, Notre Dame, all those teams will be playing in the first round of the playoffs. And there's Boise State, who's always sort of played with a little chip on their shoulder, saying, we had all of you blue bloods. And the pressure may be getting to them a little bit as it closes in on that. When you were talking about the games where they haven't been all that impressive, a huge amount of pressure on them. This is a big step for that program, is my point. Because they don't hardly ever get, for all of the big games they play, they don't hardly ever get them on the Smurf turf.
Yeah, they had one that year before at Oregon, 37-32. They got them at home that year. But of all those games where they went out and played people, that was the one game at home that I remember.
Yeah.
Fresno State game was in 2008. Fresno State was not ranked, but they were getting they jumped them 61-10. But it was kind of it was just a turning point because Fresno State was that team that went to Wisconsin and won, beat Oregon State when they were pretty good, and they were kind of the team that was the strongest mid-major, the most dangerous mid-major. Yeah. Fresno State, it was Fresno State before Boise State.
They'll carry that into Friday night's game, the thought that, hey, this is one of these program-defining potential games. It's a lot to have on your mind.
And UNLV has finished a little bit stronger than Boise, but UNLV, there's one thing to play. They're even though a lot of these Boise players haven't played in those games, we're going back 15 years to find some of their best years. That was when they were much better up front. They were getting some guys, and just if their talent, their roster's not as good as it used to be. You got a special guy like Genty. You got him under the radar. He was in Germany as a military kid, played 1 year at Texas, and his only offer was Boise. And you found a diamond in the rough, kind of build around. You're not going to get those guys, but they're not. I remember, even in the Fiesta Bowl, Oklahoma, They were blitzing, man, and they were just so good on their blitz protection, their pass. They were just so, and still needed, the hitch and pitch on 4th and 20.
That was one of the most fun games to watch.
It was.
I mean, if you had a rooting interest the other way, I get how you would have been disappointed, but that was fun to watch.
Peterson was legit, man.
Yes,
it was legit.
They went in there and they beat them. Okay, first class. We hated to see this on Sunday. Late in the game, Taysom Hill tears his ACL. Taysom Hill has had, 4 major injuries at BYU that ended, 4 different seasons, and that's not counting the concussion issues that he's had. And of course, this season he's had other minor injuries that's kept him out, and this one is pretty severe. He's going to be 35 years old in the off season, and he doesn't have any guaranteed money left on his contract. So this. Maybe it's not the last we've seen of Taysom Hill in New Orleans. Maybe it's not the last we've seen of him on a football field, period. But just in case it is, what fun it's been to watch this guy play football. We've seen guys go both ways. We're seeing Travis Hunter do some unprecedented things at the college level this year at Colorado. We've seen Dion, play both ways. We've seen Charles Woodson play both ways, but we've never seen anybody quite like Brad Hill was another one that played football at Missouri. Was Hill his last name? Yeah, Brad played and was a little bit of a catch-all in the NFL. Brett Smith. Yeah, Brett Smith, not Brad Hill. Yeah, and he did a little bit of everything. But we've never quite seen anybody like Taysom Hill who's capable of starting an NFL game at quarterback and not embarrassing himself, being the short yardage rushing threat that he's been, being the receiving threat that he is, blocking punts, returning kickoffs. I've never seen anybody like Taysom Hill that did so many things well at the NFL level. So if this is it for him, a tip of the cap. He was a joy to watch play, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure I've never seen anybody like him. I'm not sure we ever will see anybody like him again. So best in his rehab, but if he decides to hang up his cleats, he had a heck of a career.
He had an MCL sprain, his knee in 2012 at BYU. Broke a leg. 2014 at BYU. He
an elbow one year that if I remember right, knocked him out.
First year, for opening week, Labor Day weekend at Nebraska, led them to a victory, but he got hurt at the end. He had foot injury. He broke his foot, lost for the season in that win at Nebraska. Elbow sprain in 2016 at BYU. Concussion against Washington at BYU. Another plantar fascia injury at BYU. I mean, and then he started getting hurt in the NFL as well. Style of play. He's a fan favorite for a reason, but I was doing some middle school basketballs. I had to watch on the phone while I was doing the book or whatever, but he blocked that punt at Tampa Bay and a comeback win.
Yeah.
So I mean, fake punts. Just all over. Do it all, man. I mean, what tight end, fullback, running back, wide receiver. Quarterback. Blocking punts, punt protection. Covering punts for put him on the field, man. Huh?
And for all of those injuries in the last 7 seasons, not counting his rookie year in the league where they were still trying to figure out what to do with him, he played 16, 16, 16, 12, 16, and 16 games before this year. That's a lot for the physical toll it took on his body. You wanted
to talk about the hardcore sports angle of it. Was he worth the money for a specialist, for a guy? Because part of that money thought that he might be that replacement for Breeze.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
No.
He wasn't a regular. He's a starting quarterback. But the other part of it is that, he's the hard football part is Drew Brees and Sean Payton and that offense was pretty good, huh?
Yes.
Short yardage, We're taking the Hall of Fame route and putting this guy in.
Yeah.
And it worked.
It worked a
every
lot.
time.
It worked a lot.
High enough percentage where nobody complained.
Yeah.
Nobody complained.
Best of luck to Taysom Hill, whatever
No
his
doubt,
future may hold. Second class, good with a chance to be great. How about good with improved as the season went along? I'm going to give you Dominic McKinley, who had 2 sacks, a freshman defensive tackle against Oklahoma this past week. You know, his playing time gradually increased as the season went on. The last 3 games, he's been a lot more active, especially the last 2. And I thought he had his best game against Oklahoma. He had 2 sacks. He had 4 total tackles. And you could tell he was on the field this week, number 96. I think he's got enormous potential. He looks this is what we expected from Mason Smith. They're about the same size, about 6'6", 315, 320, and can move. And Smith never could quite stay healthy, never worked out for the stardom here. I think McKinley can be a star starting next year. Of all of the players on the roster that I'm excited to see take that next step, McKinley is at or near or at the top of the list, and I thought he had a really good game on Saturday night. So that's what you want. You want freshmen to come in and improve throughout the season. I think McKinley has. So he's in my second class this week. And Jimmy, did you notice one thing about the championship games in the Power 4 leagues this weekend? The favorites, especially in the Power 4 conferences this weekend. Arizona State, Texas, Oregon, and SMU are the favorites in the games this weekend. What do they all have in common?
New members in their conference.
None of them were in their conferences a year ago. These conferences a year ago. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing with the other conferences. I've got your take on Texas, but just really unusual to look at that. None of these teams were even in these leagues a season ago. So not really a second class. Just wanted to throw that in there.
The Texas Tech coach made that point. Said, okay, we want to bow down to the Big Ten and the SEC. Okay, well, the Big Ten championship, you got a team from the Pac-12 North. The Big 12 championship, you got a team from the Pac-12 South. The
SEC, you got
the SEC, you got a Big 12 South team. The ACC championship, you've got the team from
the American, right?
The American last year, very good. Yeah.
Not what we would have picked at the beginning of the year.
We were right and wrong. The Big 12 was so competitive, top to bottom. Who would have known that 2 teams that everybody had top of the league, Utah and Oklahoma State, were going to be in the bottom of the league? And the Gundy thing is unreal. 17 straight winning seasons. Mm-hmm. He goes 0-9
and got embarrassed in some of those games late. They quit on him.
Best game they played was when they wanted to pull an upset at BYU. BYU very lucky to win that game, that Friday night game.
They were. And you know what else I was thinking about in regards to these things? What if Sam Leavitt had played for Arizona State, the starting quarterback
Michigan State,
had played in the game at Cincinnati? Was the game
that'd beat them?
Yeah, and they would be 11-1, and I think that would have been enough to put them in a bye situation over Boise State.
Some mean streets of somewhere in Oregon, Charlie. Like that UFC guy. The mean streets.
I guess
Elm, Oregon, or whatever it is.
Yeah. No class. I'm sorry. I don't want to jump on top of him anymore. But man, if you watched on Thanksgiving Day in the Chicago-Detroit game, the absolute assassination of the clock by Matt Eberflus. Jimmy, I've seen some big clock mismanagement here. I mean, I covered Les Miles, for crying out loud. But what struck me about this one was not only did they massacre this thing, not only did everybody see what happened, but the Bears let him go out for a press conference the next day and double down on all of this.
Well, he did that against Washington too.
Yeah,
he said the play before was what clearly gave them a chance to reach the end zone was not a factor. When, oh my gosh,
we were fine there. I loved our no, what did he say? I loved our operation. There was the word that he used.
He was fine with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can be fine on the unemployment line because that was definitely not fine. And one more little quick into first class. First class to the league for suspending Aziz Al-Shahir for that hit on Trevor Lawrence. You're gonna really enforce this stuff. Do it right. They gave him a 3-game suspension, which is one of the longer ones I've seen for stuff like this.
Caleb Williams is very much is every bit at blame as Eberflus on this thing.
Yeah,
because if he gets up to the line and runs a play, a quick 10-yard, a curl, and they go down and call time. Had he run it as much as he ran it down, had he throw the curl, they probably would have had a timeout real quick but he checks to Odunze and says, no, he's directing traffic. He checks to him and says, no, I want you to stop and go. And he throws it downfield to all of it. It's almost like he was on the take. He did everything he could to run that clock to 0.
True.
That was he's the one is it's easy to be result oriented and criticize our what we did there.
It was on Caleb Williams, but this is where I put more in the coach. How many coaches you got on that sideline? You got to bail a rookie quarterback out. If he's lost track of time, if he's doing all that, you got a timeout. Okay. Yes. They didn't have a timeout. Maybe you say you're trying to get his attention or whatever. Your rookie quarterback is out there doing whatever he's doing. You got to bail him out.
When the clock is more important than the plays, when you're that deep, under a minute, a sack, you got to call timeout.
Yeah.
It's going to take you longer to get your receivers who are running down, get everybody else lined up. A sack is an automatic timeout because you call it immediately, no matter what you run in bounds, you're quicker to snap the ball, get the field goal. Everything's quicker than you trying to line up and then run another play.
Yeah, and you got to know that this is situational football. I got a rookie quarter. I don't have Pat Mahomes out there. I don't have Josh Allen out there. I don't have a vet.
Yes,
I got a rookie. You got to bail.
Becker can't be choosy there. You can't. But then he still thinks he's got like 14 seconds.
Yeah.
And he still starts directing traffic.
It was a disaster from start to finish on the whole operation.
And I'd be worried about Williams long term. If this is how weak his situational awareness or his football IQ is right now. We know he's got the physical. Okay, all right. Well, part of it is processing things and situational stuff.
You bringing in an offensive guy or defensive guy?
You know what they're going to do.
Yeah, they're going to bring in somebody.
They got a lot invested in Williams.
Yeah.
They're going to bring in,
And I don't necessarily think that's the wrong thing to do either.
You better go get some linemen.
Yes, no question there. First class, second class, no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Cooking for the holidays. Do it with the parboiled rice from Supreme Rice. Restaurant quality. Jimmy, you've been cooking with the parboiled rice.
I had several batches that I cooked over the holidays of my Supreme Rice parboiled rice, and it's so much easier. Well, with this high quality rice, I've always tried to get that restaurant quality. I don't know if it was just like spraying in cold water after the hot boiled rice. You try and firm it up, fluff it up, whatever, clean it up. No, but this makes it so much easier. Not as much of that residue after you boil your rice, and it's a higher quality rice. It's a grain firm rice. It's a long grain rice. You'll love it, man.
Pick it up at all your AG food stores, all of your Walmarts, your Rouses, anywhere you buy rice, and save some money with Supreme Rice. Support our Louisiana farmers. They're part of the Climate Smart program, ensuring that future generations of Louisiana farmers will enjoy the benefits as they promote methane emissions reductions, and water conservation. For more information and great recipes, go to supremerice.com. Live at lunch from Mike Anderson's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large, because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
By now, you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Sound Room at Dozy Place. The Crown Sound Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with a sriracha glaze for the perfect blend of sweet and spicy. You can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust are bringing you the ultimate holiday gift with our Home for the Holiday sweepstakes. Imagine 2025 with your rent or mortgage covered up to $18,000. We're here to make your holidays a whole lot brighter. Just sign up at 1045ESPN.com and you could be living stress-free next year. Home for the Holidays is presented by Citizens Bank and Trust. The winner will be notified on December 20th. Sign up now at 1045ESPN.com.
Hosting an office party or holiday get-together? Let Rouse's Markets make it easy and delicious. You can order full and half pans of Rouse's Markets' famous jambalaya, gumbo, red beans, white beans, and fettuccine alfredo. And you can get all of your local favorites: mini po' boys, mini muffalettas, meat pies, crawfish pies, and boudin egg rolls. Plus, they have the best finger sandwiches in town. Rouse's Markets, your holiday catering headquarters and the official supermarket of the Saints.
At Lofton, we're in the business of matching hard workers with some of the most sought-after employers in the Baton Rouge area. To Lofton, you're more than just another employee. We care about your interests, and we can help match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application, schedule an interview, and even browse jobs by simply going to lofton.jobs. That's lofton.jobs. We also offer an unlimited $100 referral bonus. At Lofton, we put people to work. Lofton.jobs.
When you walk through the doors at Duplessis Builders, you open the doors to your backyard paradise. We'll help you with every detail of your dream pool, your outdoor kitchen, and even your own putting green. You'll see for yourself why at Duplessis Builders, we say, if you can dream it, we can build it. Come dream in our showroom today in Gonzales at Airline and Duplessis, or online at duplessisbuilders.net. That's duplessisbuilders.net for your backyard paradise.
At Lewis Mechanical, no plumbing job's too big or too small, and we have the best technicians around. Lewis Mechanical specializes in both commercial and residential plumbing repairs.
Lewis Mechanical, keeping plumbing humming.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch. Into the football, regular season football. Jimmy, we want to take a look back at some of the futures that came up with.
Yeah.
You and Paul Stone in the preseason. A cool 8-0 on SEC predictions. Some of these were easier than others. Going to start with you.
This is why I did this, Charlie, and I was on it because I felt like you're breaking up the divisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see like Big Ten East, Penn State, Ohio State. I mean, that was so heavy. That was so much stronger than the Big Ten West. All right, how much easier maybe some of these Big Ten East schedules were. And the biggest case was Rutgers. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, Penn State, a little bit as well. And then on the other side, who was playing that much tougher? And it was Purdue. And those were not high-profile situations, but, man, they panned out. Rutgers went over their total, and Purdue fired their coach. They beat Indiana State and lost 11 in a row. Same thing with Big Ten, SEC East teams. And Georgia had so much tougher than what they've played recently, and we saw that. Florida was ridiculous. I mean, Sunbelt Billy, man, hey, we got to throw him. We got to get him some kind of award. He did. He still got his job.
Right.
But Missouri was still weak. Tennessee was still weak. And then, Texas was ridiculous, and Oklahoma was so tough. So it was schedules were a big deal. And then I didn't know SMU was going to be this good. They didn't either. Keep in mind, Preston Stone was a guy who threw for 3,800 yards and 28 touchdowns. He was a strength for SMU returning this year.
Yep.
And their season, went to another level when they made the quarterback switch.
And it was after that game against BYU, who was a lot better than we thought at the time.
But they really looked bad on offense that game.
Oh, it was the 18-15 game, I believe.
Yeah,
on a Friday night.
And it was a Friday night game. It was second game. It was right after Nevada. They had to scramble just to win as 25-point favorites.
Yeah.
On the road in week 0. So that was a big thing. A lot of the schedules. Oklahoma was tough. Nebraska, I thought, was going to break through. They barely. I mean, they still only won 6 games, but they didn't win their conference records. But the SEC was, it's all schedules.
You had Missouri under 9.5 wins. You get that one. The one that you probably had to sweat the most was they were in a back and forth with South Carolina. They ended up losing that game 34-30. That one could have gone either way. That one worked out to keep them under 9.5 wins.
Arkansas played them tough too.
They did. They did. But by that time, you had it.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
You're talking about late in the game. Yeah, that was a sweat.
That was the
one.
But
they had the Vandy game. It was close.
Early in the season. Yeah, they sure did.
But they lost a record number of drafted guys on the defensive side. And they were not as good as they were.
No,
on
a hell of a job by Eli Drinkwitz to win 9 games. Haven't lost all.
Who's their best win?
Missouri's best win. Wow,
that's my point.
The team that they beat with the best record is probably Arkansas.
Okay, well,
Boston College. Outside of the outside of the thing.
Boston College.
Okay, Tennessee over 9 wins. This came down to the last weekend. To go over 9 wins.
Their defensive front, it even proved out to be better than we thought, and I like their schedule too. Their schedule was not tough.
Fell behind 14-0, but dominated the game after that. Another one that came down to the last weekend was Texas A&M. You had them under 8.5 wins. They would have beaten Texas. They would have gone over that total. They lose that game. That one came down to the last week as well. And you had Oklahoma under 7.5 wins. You had that one locked up had it locked up, but with 3 weeks to go, but probably didn't expect them to beat Alabama the way that they did. Paul Stone had Oregon with more wins than Texas. Needed every one of them.
Yes.
The 1-point game against Ohio State. Had Missouri to miss the college football playoff. If they were 10-2, if they had won one more, would they have gotten in?
Oh, they've been right there.
They would have.
A 10-2 SEC team?
A 10-2 SEC team. And you just asked me a minute ago what their best win was.
You had to try and decide between Arkansas and Boston College. That's enough.
If they'd have won any of the 3 games that they lost, A&M, Alabama, or South Carolina, probably the Alabama win would have been the most beneficial to them. Although South Carolina, they played on the road too. Yeah, they would have been right there.
They'd have won that one.
Yeah,
and that was a minute to go when they scored.
Yes, yeah, it was very, very late in that game. Paul also had Colorado with more wins than Florida, which worked out. Out for him.
Well, Florida had a lot more than we expected.
Yeah,
I mean, Florida to win 7 games. I mean, I would have never given them a chance to go 6-6, much less 7-5.
Some of the other highlights from the futures bets in the other conferences. You had Purdue at plus money under 4 wins. That
schedule is brutal. They go from playing in the Big Ten West to playing Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State.
Yeah. Once
and we
again,
didn't. We thought Michigan would be a little bit better than they were. They finished strong, but
yeah. Paul had Michigan to miss the college football playoff. We thought that was a good bet. Now you
Yeah,
had
I had that
to lay juice there. Washington under 6.5 wins, coming off the national championship, wasn't and losing their coach.
21 of 22 starters gone from last year.
Mm-hmm. Utah with more wins than Florida State was another one that that hit.
That was the Oregon over Texas and the those are extreme, huh?
You also had Miami over 9 wins. You had to lay a little juice there too, but that was a winner. So those were the good. The ones you missed on, Duke. Their conference win total was 2.5. Manny Diaz did a hell of a job there.
He did. It's a lot of close, somewhat lucky wins, including Saturday. But give him credit. No, they won him, and I mean they had a lead in the fourth quarter. Was it? That was when we were all down in at the Beau Rivage that weekend, and Miami scored. It was at least in the second half. They had a lead. I want to say it was in the fourth quarter, but they were better than I expected. I thought that Elko was getting out at the right time. You know, the quarterbacks transferring to Notre Dame. He inherited a tough situation, but I'm still not ready to say, well, SMU's best win is a Duke. Oh my gosh, they were lucky, flat out lucky to beat Northwestern, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Another one that you missed on that looked great midway through the season but didn't pan out was Baylor under 5.5 wins. They were 2-4 at the midway point, including that loss on the Hail Mary against Colorado. They didn't lose again. They won their final 6.
Had them Saturday as one of my 5-pack, man. Aranda's team was rolling at the end, man. Impressive win on Saturday again. Yeah, good guy, man. Happy for him.
Give him credit for that. This one was one that looked good. I would have certainly taken this one that Paul took. Indiana under 6 wins. New coach. I want to say they had 39 guys in the transfer portal or something like that.
Wes Reynolds had that Hoosier. He knew he was bringing over some guys. He had him. Not crazy about him. Up 38-0, running a fake punt.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah. No.
Okay. How about up 52-0, having his starter Rourke in, throwing a touchdown pass?
Is that rivalry with Purdue? You know, motivated or what? I have no idea. I know that the old Oak and Bucket, because me and Gordy go back and forth with that because Gordy spent a year at Purdue. But is there bad blood?
It's a rivalry.
I
mean,
and he's been there for a year, so it's not like they did anything to him personally.
Okay, well, did he try and shorten the game and play close instead of kind of going for it in the Ohio State game?
I can't tell you that he didn't watching the second half of that game, because that's the game everybody was watching and say, should we put them in the playoff? Or if they went to Ohio State and lost by a reasonable amount, they were going to be in. And if they went up there and got beat 52-3, they weren't. And so he might have realized he was outmatched that day and just said, let's keep this close. And I can't tell you that I blame him in that situation. If I'm the head coach at Indiana and I've got a chance to do something unprecedented and all I got to do is run the play clock down a little bit, I'll probably do the same thing, Jimmy.
South Carolina against Missouri fell down 3, got the ball at their own 30 with 1:02 to go. And they scored a touchdown.
So Missouri
was that close, because if they beat South Carolina on the road, that would have given them up juice. They're going to be ranked tonight, but 2020, 22, 23 in that range, something there. So with a win at South Carolina would have given them by far their best win. I'm going to put them over the top.
This is the Sports Bettor's Paradise that people can access. Yeah. You were plus 3.5 units for all conferences for the season. So this was a profitable run, and they're free. To get
Sports Bettor's Paradise YouTube channel, yes, and all year long, putting out angles, picks, analysis, and wherever you find your podcast. Don't forget our friends over at electricmanbatonrouge.com, electricmanbatonrouge.com, and electrical work is not do-it-yourself work over at home. So why Electric Man? Well, our job is to make your job easier. We're powered up to power you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, available day in, day out to provide quality service that's fast, efficient, and reliable. We aim to deliver fast and dedicated electrical services without compromising safety, quality, or integrity. So installations, lighting, electrical safety, licensed professionals, free estimates, guaranteed scheduled appointments, friendly technicians, quality service, you name it, child-proof outlets, surge protection, GVCI outlets, wiring updates, dedicated computer circuits. We do it all. Electric Man, BatonRouge.com, ElectricMan,
LSU losing another player, this time from the current roster. We'll tell you who's the latest to enter the transfer portal when we return here at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
GMFS, changing lives. T. Brown here, CEO of GMF.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy, can you use your timer, your stopwatch? I gotta do a spot here. I want to make sure I'm.
What's that?
Your stop. Oh, okay.
Just let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
It's rolling.
All right. It's holiday time at the Thibodeau store, and they've got gifts for everybody on your list. McWare and Lodge cookware, cast iron pots, roll-around combos for all cooks, tools and garden supplies for the home expert. And for those of us who like to kick back and soak in all of the Christmas magic, sit back and relax in the beautiful quality-made Cypress furniture, swings, rockers, and gliders. Top-notch tools, gifts, and expert advice, the Thibodeau store. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau, and online, it's ThibodeauStore.com.
SUV today, or let Bayou Ford help you customize.
So can you just text me who you
Yes.
need to send it to?
Yeah.
Okay.
The 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery. Visit BayouFord.com to shop or schedule a same-day appointment with our service department just off I-10 on Belterre and LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you. If you're looking for some time away, but you don't want to go too far, the Cook Hotel at LSU is just what you've been searching for. Book your getaway today and enjoy a beautiful escape in any of their luxurious guest rooms or suites overlooking the gorgeous LSU lakes. Whether you're here to shop or stay, the Cook Hotel at LSU is where you can find it all. Stay for the weekend, come by, grab lunch, or shop at their alumni gift shop. Visit thecookhotel.com to book your stay today. That's thecookhotel.com.
Ice skating on the river is back at the Raising Cane's River Center Arena from December 18th through January 2nd. It's an unforgettable skating experience. Whether you're a seasoned pro or lacing up for the first time, there's fun for everyone. Bring your family, friends, and holiday spirit to skate in this winter wonderland. Visit RaisingCanesRiverCenter.com for times, dates, and tickets. Proudly brought to you by Investar Bank, Guarantee Media, and Acadian Ambulance.
We're here to examine things that get better with age, like this bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, vintage 1877. Age can make things more valuable, like this Picasso from his Blue Period, 1904. And treasured, like this Roto-Rooter jingle, 1954.
Roto-Rooter jingle?
Just listen to it.
Oh, Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
A timeless melody.
Roto-Rooter?
The lithe arrangement.
But it's a clog-busting company.
Wrong there. Roto-Rooter has grown into more than a clog-busting company. They're North America's largest full-service plumber and drain cleaner. And when you need Roto-Rooter, remembering this jingle can be priceless.
Roto-Rooter.
For all of your plumbing and drainage solutions, call Roto-Rooter in Baton Rouge at 925-8710. That's 925-8710.
Yo, Jacob and T-Bob here. And look, we've been talking about the All-Star Toyota rentals for a while. We wanted to remind you about them.
First, if your car is in service with them, they have daily rental rates starting at $5 per hour for a minimum of 2 hours.
Second, you can try before you buy with an extended test drive.
Third, they have daily, weekly, and monthly rentals with flexible plans and competitive rates. You can rent a new Toyota for as little as $60 per day.
Check out their website at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com/rental. People you know, cars you trust, All-Star Toyota.
Live at lunch Lunch with Ott and Annie from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we welcome you back here to Live at Lunch at Mike Anderson's. So we told you right before the break, another player has entered the transfer portal. This one's a little bit of a surprise to me. It's C.J. Daniels, who spent one season in Baton Rouge. Daniels caught 42 passes, 480 yards on the season. And, fought through some injuries a little bit in the back half of the season, but was the last press conference they did, Kelly was talking about how, hey, they got him another year. All of that was set to go, and it looked like he was coming back. He's instead going into the transfer portal. He would have been one of the top two guys coming back next year. So that's a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought that he would. So be back.
Who would be top guy receiver with him?
Aaron Anderson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Caught 53 this year. Daniels was the fourth leading receiver behind Anderson, Taylor, and Lacey this year. And Taylor.
How many games did he miss? About half.
No. He played in all, but I think he missed 2 games completely and parts of maybe 2 or 3 others. He played 3, 6, 9, 10. Yeah, he missed 2 games fully and probably parts of 2 others. So 42 catches in, let's say, 8.5 games.
Yeah, he'd have been,
like that.
an off season with Nussmeier. I mean,
yeah, that's a guy.
He'd have. There ain't many returning quarterbacks with the skill level of Nussmeier that you'd have been one of his top targets.
Right.
Yeah, that's odd.
Another announcement coming in. This one was very much expected. As expected, Will Campbell has put his name into the NFL draft. We knew this one all along. Campbell is going to be a first-round pick. How high he goes, you get some various opinions. I've seen him in some of the ratings and mock drafts go as high as number 5. I've seen him drop as low as into the mid-teens. Probably somewhere in between that is a good guess. I think that most likely he'll probably be a late top 10 pick. Kelvin Banks, a junior from Texas, is the other top tackle in this draft. And sort of beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I thought Campbell probably had a little bit better year last year than this year, but that's a wide angle. Maybe I think that because I watched Daniels, run around so much last year. Campbell's an excellent player, a really excellent player. Banks is too. It's going to be just who decides to, which one do you like better as to who's going to be the top tackle off the board. And as soon as one of them goes, the other one will probably go within 2 to 3 picks. So not a surprise that Will Campbell's headed to the draft.
Harold Perkins.
Hadn't heard anything yet.
He's not into the transfer portal?
No.
No, he hadn't done it yet?
No.
Okay.
Could. There's been rumors about that. I think he's got to play another year college football if he wants to maximize his draft status. Where he plays, what team he plays for, what position he plays. We've spent, 5 dozen segments on Harold Perkins over 3 years probably, and I think we're both in agreement. He's a pass rusher. I would even, going into his last year, consider on the right team playing him as a close to the box safety and try to work on his coverage skills and be a Jamal Adams type, what Adams was when he was with the Jets in his first year with the Seahawks. What I wouldn't do is put him in the middle again, whether he plays for LSU or Timbuktu. I wouldn't put him back in the middle again, but I don't get to make those decisions. I didn't think they should have put him in the middle this year. I didn't think they should have put him in the middle last year. And I don't think wherever he plays, if it's here or somewhere else, that he should play in the middle next year. We've been through that, though, right? That's what.
Where Paul Stone went to school?
Texas.
Yes.
And
they think they're getting him.
And they might. They might. They have pursued him before. I mean, he's been a big target for people trying to woo him out of here since his freshman season.
Uh-huh.
This might be the year. It's a little bit different because he's coming off of a major injury, and again, where do you put him? Well, I know what I would do. I put him on the outside, let him rush the passer. But like I said, I don't get to
put him in position to where he's best. I mean,
that's what I would do. I think that's what you would do, and I'll listen to an argument that has him as more of a hybrid defensive back that kind of plays close to the line of scrimmage and allowing him to play in space. What I wouldn't do is have him at 220 pounds trying to take on lineman and putting him on the edge to just rush the passer. I get it. You're going to be compromised against the run, but there's plenty of guys that are at the next level or situational players. I mean, maybe Harold Perkins isn't a 3-down player at the next level. Probably isn't. A lot of guys make plenty of money and stay in the league a long time that are situational guys, especially if your situation is being able to rush the passer. So, like I said, going to be a wild and woolly.
Chip Brown said yesterday from the Blood Orange. You know, been doing it for a long time. Yeah, he's the one spot where they really need some guys. Or they think, you know, the money's pouring in now. They're all excited. They're on their way to Atlanta, in the SEC, and flipping guys here and there, left and right, throwing it around.
I got a red shirt in my closet somewhere to wear.
Edge.
Yeah.
Edge rusher. He could do that.
If Harold Perkins came in and just.
How's he going to do recovering from his that's
I don't know. That was in the UCLA game, so that was in September. So when they report for August camp, it'll be about 10.5 months, roughly.
Well, that's
right there on the edge, right?
It's going to be. I mean, it's
take it slow in August and ramp him up, and maybe by the time you get to conference play.
No, I mean, no, he's got a chance to be ready for, 9 months. He can come back. He'll be right there at the edge.
Play. But, I mean, back to full speed, feeling really good and all that. It might take a few games back.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, so you got to get past that mental actual. But you can no, he could be ready to go. I mean, would he be at his optimum at the very first game? Probably not. But I mean, he can. That's if everything goes right.
True.
You know what I mean? If everything goes right, he's fully committed. His body heals well. The whole thing, he can be ready to go for camp.
Ready to go for camp and maybe hitting your stride when conference play starts. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It's going to take a little minute, but we just don't know. You don't know. I mean, you're pushing the envelope. I mean, that's if everything goes well. But it could be something where he's limited in fall camp. You might. He might be fully healthy at the start and have to work him, say, mid-season. So it's right on that edge.
They will be shooting at your roster from all angles. So just keep
the deal.
Keep that. Well, if you
our guy's got a 10-year contract.
He does
recruitment.
Right,
7 years left.
That is crucial to keep recruits. Is the length of the contract for the coach? I forgot. That was sarcasm. I got a red shirt somewhere in my closet. I'm going to wear Saturday.
A red shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, would you vote for Joe?
Barking dogs.
Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Yes, indeed. Your neighborhood homeowners require wood windows. This is your place, because not only are they wood windows, but they're built to last in these extreme South Louisiana weather conditions. We're proud to be the premier gel-wind wood windows company at Relief Windows. These wooden windows combine the beauty of real wood with high-tech energy efficiency features for all climate zones. Our last wood gel-wind windows come with a 20-year general warranty and a lifetime limited warranty against rot and termites, providing years of beauty and minimal maintenance. They are built to last more than the normal wood windows. I sure wish I'd have gone with the original construction of my home. Wouldn't have to replace mine 10, 12 years down the road. Call my friends at Relief Windows, 230-5652, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, or reliefwindows.com.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch.
It was Christmas Eve. Santa Claus was riding in his sleigh. He was packed with toys.
there, Hattie?
Yeah, hang on one second.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. All right, you good now. It's rolling.
This is Charles Handegriff. Join us for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch from Snow's Seafood and Steak in Gonzales. This is Charles Handegriff. Join us for this. This is Charles Handegriff. Join us for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch from Snow Seafood and Steak on Airline Highway in Gonzales. Scott Rabelais with us from The Advocate. Randy McKay is special. Come on, man. This is Charles Handegriff. Join us for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch from Snow Seafood and Steak on Airline Highway in Gonzales. Professional sports handicapper Randy McKay, along with The Advocate Scott Rabelais and VSiN's Wes Reynolds, joins us for the show. Live at Lunch from Snow Seafood and Steak, 11 a.m. Wednesday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Matter or something more serious. No criminal matter is too big or too small for us to aggressively and effectively represent you. Before making any decisions, call us at 225-343-1111 for your free consultation. You can also visit us at ocbrown.com. The law offices of OC Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Bow and waterfowl season is open, and Southern Outfitters is your one-stop shop. Fully stocked with decoys, full-service bow repair, and sales. Tree stands, hang-ons, and hunting apparel for the entire family. Visit Southern Outfitters in Zachary and at southernoutfittersla.com.
Fall sports are here, and if your child is having joint or muscle pain or has sustained an injury, call Evolve PT and Sports. Evolve is locally owned by a physical therapist highly skilled in manual therapy and return to sports rehab. Not being pushed, paying a copay, and just getting handed 45 minutes of exercises that you can find on Google, then you're not getting rehab. Our therapists are on the floor working with you or monitoring you at all times. No writing notes during treatment at our clinic. Come to the Orthopedic Outpatient Clinic in Baton Rouge, Evolve PT and Sports. Schedule your appointment today at evolvept.com.
The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus, $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games, just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
Water is water, right? Not when it's Evermore. Smooth tasting Evermore water is Mother Nature's masterpiece. Evermore is natural artesian water. Maybe you want a healthier lifestyle, a high-end athlete who wants better hydration, or a parent who wants something healthier for their kids. You want Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore. Available at great local retailers.
Now that it's cooler outside, this is the perfect time of year to get new windows, doors, and siding by calling me, Tommy, from Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding. So set up your free quote today at gotommys.com. That's GEAUX, Tommys.com.
You want a dry and cozy car, but your windshield leaks water and makes your car wet and smelly. That's why you need Advanced Windshield, the problem solvers in auto glass repair. We use quality parts and tools to ensure a perfect seal every time. Visit us at advancedwindshield.com.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. Have a question, a problem, call us. We answer the phone. 225-363-9053.
Brandon Holly here. Pick your color, pick your siding. ReliefWindows.com.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Yanni from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LSU basketball tonight, one of their more important non-conference games. They play Florida State, SEC ACC Challenge, 8 o'clock tip on the SEC Network. LSU a 4.5-point favorite. Florida State is 7-1 on the season, but lightly raced. The game that they lost was to Florida. They lost that game by 13. Probably their best win besides that is Temple, who's a net 114. And LSU at Ken Palm is 50. Florida State is 59. If we talk about net rankings, LSU is 51 and Florida State is 50. So you got a pretty even. Net is 67. Their Ken Palm is 59. So you got a pretty even matchup tonight at the PMAC. Looking for some college basketball tonight.
Who's favored?
LSU by 4.5.
Okay, it's an even matchup.
Yeah, and the Ken Palm rankings, 50-59.
So Florida State against Florida, they were in Tallahassee too, and they really weren't much of a match.
They lost the game by 13. Yeah,
yeah. Florida is definitely a tournament team. They're really good.
Florida's so good they're redshirting 7'9" guys.
Is that right?
You see a 7'9" guy?
They got some guys.
He's 7'8". I mean, he hardly played any basketball, but he's literally 7'8".
They kind of trying to salvage the season. You know what? I don't know what happened with the coach and all that stuff and whatever, but they sure trying to move forward because I think part of it is they got a good team this year. But whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, whatever. I'm just saying they're good. They're good. They're one of the many good teams that are going to the tournament for the SEC. Where's their NET Florida right now? About 20?
Their NET
or
is
Ken Palm or whatever. I mean,
their NET is 7, and their Ken Palm is 8. Ken Palm has 3 teams in the top 8 from the league: Auburn, Tennessee, and
good,
Florida.
Man.
Kentucky 12. Texas A&M, Mississippi State, both in the top 30.
I thought Florida State
30?
at home could put a little bit better fight against them, but no, now they came back. It was down big, came back, and then Florida ran away with it.
Thanks to the folks here at Mike Anderson's for being our host today. Tomorrow we're at Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales. For Jimmy Out, for Jordan Kinchins, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.